Hey guys, thanks for coming back to the channel. I know it looks pretty bad having the seat off the Harley. That never means anything good, but I promise you this time it's not as bad as what it seems. So let's get into it. So what happened this particular time was I got on my bike to start it, and it was giving me the security lights as if I did not have a key fob.
Keys right here. All I need is for you to start.
So I sat on it, tried everything I could, moving the key fob around, smacking it, all the stupid stuff that you do to try to get shit to work, but it just was not starting. And I just changed my battery before I went to Milwaukee. So I was like, well, it's probably not the battery. So I called Kokomo Harley, the local dealership here. They were super cool about it. He said, hey, before you waste any money and bring it in, he's like, make sure it's a new battery. Told him my situation, that it was a new battery. And so he told me about this antenna on here that receives, the proximity of the fob, I guess. And he said sometimes that falls down in between the battery and the frame here, and it won't pick up on the signal. So luckily that wasn't it, and all I had to do was change the battery out, and it was good to go. But this is just preventative, just to make double damn sure that that's not messing up on me. So everything looks good here. What I'm going to do is just button up, and we'll get out on the road. So let's get the seat back on, and let's get out on the road. Alright, we're on the road now. I love this weather for riding. It's nice and cool. It's pretty comfortable. Just throw a hoodie on. Your bike likes the cold air. But at the same time means we're coming to a close here for the riding season, and it's a heartbreaking time of year, because then you just got to park it, and you got to stare at it, and you got to think about what it's going to be like to ride it the next season. We still got a few more weeks left of it, but not much longer. In fact, this weekend is the Stubborn American down in Oklahoma, and I usually go to that, but unfortunately this year I am not going to be able to take the time off from work and go, so I'm going to miss out this year. And I really do feel like I'm going to be missing out, because every year that I've gone, it's gotten bigger and bigger and bigger, so I can't imagine what this year is going to be like compared to last year. Last year was a blast, so all you guys that are going to it, man, I really hope you guys enjoy your time. And this kind of ties into this video a little bit here. If anybody has watched the channel before, you know that mostly all of my trips are solo trips. And, it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy being out there by myself and just moving at my own pace. I can wake up when I want, I can leave when I want, I can eat and stop. There's a lot of perks to it, but at the same time, you still have to be mindful of some things. So I just wanted to get on here, and anybody that's traveling solo, maybe you could see this and maybe get some ideas, stuff that I didn't think about on my first solo trip, that now on, my 100th solo trip, it's like just a given. So the first thing is, going back to the key fob issue here, the first thing is I always do a pre-trip inspection before taking off on a long trip like that. Let's just use Oklahoma for instance here. That's a 12-hour ride, and I would hate to be stranded somewhere along the way because I didn't have my bike checked on, before I left. So what I do is, if I'm going on a long trip like that, I take it over to Kokomo Harley-Davidson, and they look at everything as if they would on a service, but they don't do the full service. They just do their 100 and whatever, 100, I think it's 101 or 111. I can't remember how many it is, but it's a checkpoint thing that they go through to make sure that everything is good to go before you get out on the road. Stuff that I, even if I was to look at it, I couldn't change it or, fix it there at the house, with what I've got there. They have everything there that they'd be able to do, such as tires and things like that. So that's the first thing I do, is just make sure that your bike is safe for you to ride. Yeah, it's fun, but at the same time, man, going 70, 80 miles down the road, miles per hour down the road, and something happens to your bike, it's not going to be a fun thing. So I always make sure my bike is safe to ride before I go. And then the second thing that I always check on is just make sure I have all my equipment with me. Make sure you have your rain suit, make sure you have your protective gear such as gloves, vest, jacket, just the things that are going to help make your ride not only more comfortable but protect you, just in case you were to go down in whatever elements that you're riding in. That sun looks kind of cool right there. But not only just your riding equipment, but also stuff that you may need, say you do run into something out there. They can check your bike and make sure that your tires are good, whatever, but you can have a brand new tire or a 2-year-old tire and you can still get a flat out on the road. So, make sure you have your air pump, your tire patch kit, make sure you have a jump pack with you. I got several, maybe I'll do a video on that sometime, all the stuff that I carry in my bags when I ride, but zip ties and shit that you may need to. I've seen where people put them on your shift linkage and stuff. You never know when something out of the blue may happen and you may need to fix it. And I didn't used to be that way. In fact, the first time I went down to Oklahoma, I only had my bike and my backpack and my tent, and I didn't even have any of my gear. I had gloves and a hoodie. It was just super foolish, one of the greatest experiences of my life. But if something were to happen, super big, I don't think I'd be able to take care of it on my own. So make sure you got a toolkit, those types of things that you think would be necessary. Sorry, trying to get this string to quit flying around. Those things that you think would be necessary on your trip, things that you might run into, or things that you have run into and now you just want to be prepared for them this time. So first two things, make sure your bike is safe to ride, and then make sure you got all your proper equipment, to protect yourself while you ride, and little maintenance things that you could do along the way, so that way you're not stranded. Number 3 might be a little controversial. I don't know if YouTube would like it, but this kind of goes along with equipment. But make sure that you are equipped to protect yourself. Wink, wink. I'm not telling you to go out and, you got to be strapped to the gills or anything. But, if you're riding solo, you need to have something, and especially women that are riding solo, I want you to have something that you can protect yourself with, whether it's something as small as a freaking pepper spray up to something that is like an automatic hole puncher. And if you don't know what that is, you probably have to Google that one if you don't know what that is. But something that if somebody messes with you, they're going to regret that they did mess with you, or try to hurt you, or try to rob you, whatever is the case. Which I've never run into that yet, knock on wood. But just in case, I always call it the fire extinguisher method. You may not need it, but it's good to have it, right? So we'll move on from that one. I think you get the point on that one. Number 4 is do your research on places that you are going to stop. The technology is a beautiful, beautiful thing, and we can research whatever we want to. and look up the crime rates in certain areas, you know, and make sure, I can't remember what site it is. I think you can get to it through Google too, but it gives like a grading system like A through F, you know, and personally I won't go to a place that's less than a B. And when you find out what it is, I've wanted to stop in certain places. I was like, oh, it'd be cool to stay there, you know. I've seen people stop there, whatever. I'm not going to name any places. But then they get a D- or an F on their crime rate. And you're like, yeah, maybe I'll just sit this one out and go somewhere else, you know. I'm not saying you have to be afraid of everywhere you go, but it's good to do a little bit of research. And if you have all that information at hand on your phone, do a little bit of research and make sure that where you're going is going to be a safe place to go. You don't want to leave your bike parked and then come out to shit missing off of it, or to it then, you know, being stolen, or, you know, any possibility of things could happen. And then that could happen in the places where they get an A rating, but it's less likely. So do your research on where you're going first, or where you're going to be staying, and just look out for yourself in that aspect. Pretty cool old house. Looks like they're going to fix it up. I hope they're not tearing it down. It's happening a lot around here. They're tearing down these old houses. Anyway, then my next thing, speaking of locations, is share your location with somebody at home. If you're by yourself, you end up in a crash or something and somebody can't get a hold of you, but they have no clue where you're at, and you're 2-3 states away. How's anybody going to know that they're the ones to contact or whatever? You share your location with somebody, you know, they'll know exactly where you're at. And I know that scares some people. I don't want people knowing where I'm at, but who gives a damn? You know, I don't. You know, I'll share it with my wife and be good to go. And that way, if I'm flat somewhere, she knows where to come to get the insurance check.
Not funny.
But at least this way, somebody will know where you're at, and they'll be able to help you out if you need it. If something were to happen and you're all those miles away. And I think, was that number 4? I can't remember if that's 4. We'll just say this is 5-ish. Number 5 is, don't be riding like an idiot out here. Don't be riding past your abilities. You know, just because you're on the open highway and everything does not mean that that's fair game just to ride stupid. You still have to ride with some kind of regard for everyone else on the road and yourself. You know, trips aren't about how fast you can get there. It's just about cruising and enjoying the scenery. And if you're comfortable riding fast, then you're comfortable riding fast, but don't push yourself. Don't push yourself and think that, oh, you got to make this certain time, whatever. It can get pretty dangerous if you start riding like that. Man, this is a bumpy-ass road. But riding safe is, you know, everybody says, oh, nobody looks out for motorcycles, but I've seen a lot of guys on motorcycles that don't look out for nobody else. So it's up to us too. You know, we have to ride with some kind of defensive manner in order to make sure that we make it home or to our destination. And this may all be shit that everybody else already knows, but hey, I was just thinking about solo trips and, you know, what I would do to prepare if I was going to Oklahoma. And I'm not, but you lucky sons of bitches that get to go, take some of that into consideration and just be safe, man. And next year I'll definitely be there. Next year is not going to be an issue. I've already got it, you know, in the books to go. So everybody out there, just enjoy your time and ride safe and be safe. Make sure you like and subscribe. Tell all of your friends to do the same, and we'll see you on the next video.